All right, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy Bum Day. Happy Jenna Day. Happy last day of school day. It is
Yep.
Jenna's last day of school. She's done with teaching. She's now going to be on the bum every single day moving forward, Monday
Every
through.
single
She's
day.
going to host solo shows on Friday by herself moving forward. But yeah, so it's good to have everyone here. Jenna, how are you feeling? Are you excited, sad? What's the vibe at right now?
I'm excited. Today was sad. The kids were very sad. I'm exhausted. We had track and field day this week. It was just a long week of like a lot of unstructured time. No actual teaching. So it was just like entertaining 38-year-olds all day.
Yeah, that's tough. What would be harder, entertaining 38-year-olds or 38-year-olds? Like a just collection of
How many?
38-year-olds.
How many?
Just a collection, like a handful.
I'd say, which is harder?
Yeah.
38-year-olds.
The 38-year-olds?
No, the other one.
The other one.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do. I don't know how
kids
you.
were pretty easy.
Yeah, you give them a ball. I don't know what you do with a 38. 38's a weird age. Because you're not quite set in your ways. You're not quite like old man, just put them in front of a TV, let pop watch some videos.
Pop.
Yeah, put pop by the window. It's a
Is
Theo
that
Vaughn.
No,
that's a Theo Vaughn bit. He was like, all old people want to do is sit by a window. Like, put pop by a window if they're in like a whatever. But anyway, all right. So the kids were sad. I don't remember ever being sad on the last day of school.
I probably had like 10 to 12 of them just sobbing for the last like 45 minutes.
They're about to enter the best time of the year.
Yeah, but I'll never.
What are they sad about?
I don't know.
That's crazy to me.
I didn't expect them to be sad. I knew I was going to be sad, but I was not expecting the emotions from them. I also think they kind of like feed off of each other. So there were a couple that were crying, and then everybody was like, "Oh, I'm going to cry too."
Yeah, that's so weird to me. I've never like, maybe I did, but I don't remember like.
I don't really remember crying either.
Being sad, like it was awesome. Last day of school was awesome because like it's field day, you run around, you get a lot of energy out, and then you just go home. And everyone's talking about like the last day of school party. Were there any vibes of that? Where like this last day of
party?
No, I mean like the kids after school. Oh. Like they all go to like someoe's house or like someone's pool. Were there some vibes of that?
Older. I think that's like 6th grade. Like my kids, no, they're not doing that.
Dang, those were the best.
Yeah, I also think it's different because you went to a private school and like your grades way more close knit. There's less of you.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were awesome. Everyone's like, all right, we're doing this. We're going to this pool right after. And you usually got out early on the last day of school. And then we were like, all right, straight to the pool. And then you swim for 6 hours. You become shriveled up. And then you just sleep for the entire weekend.
Yeah, I have school tomorrow. Like kids aren't there, but I have to still go.
So what is that? Oh, is it just like a wrap up, like close all the cabinets and all that stuff?
I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, but yeah.
But basically,
like finish grades, clean your classroom, put everything up.
Mm-hmm. Were there any? Is there? Again, you don't know no details, but like, are there a few kids you're like, oh, done. Thank goodness. Yeah. Ready to get out of there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Let's do bum of the day. Cause did you end up watching the documentary?
Okay, no, but I was talking to my friends about it and I've seen it all over TikTok and it made me not want to watch it.
Okay, we'll get into it. We'll talk Bama Rush talk the rest of the time. Okay. But bum of the day, I'm gonna give it to. So yesterday I gave it to the writers of Ted Lasso because it was the best episode, maybe of the series so far, released this week. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But today I'm giving it to the writers of Dave. This show has not gotten the credit it deserves because they're like, oh, it's Little Dicky. It's gonna be a slapstick comedy, stupid dick jokes the whole time. No, it's not. It is rip your heart out satirical comedy and it will destroy you. And I watched the new episode this morning, and it will destroy you. And it's so good. And the writers, I don't even know if he's a writer on the show, but if he is, shout out Dave Bird. If not, the writers deserve a ton of credit. This week of TV has made me realize how important this writer strike is, because holy shit, if we don't get TV like this for the next like year, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad, because good writing is good writing, and you can tell when it's good writing.
My mom
So
and I are talking about the writer's strike.
it's so weird. It's such like a ego standoff type thing, because like it's gonna happen.
But that's like what a strike is.
Yeah, it's so
Like every
pointless.
strike is just egos.
Yeah, it's just kids. It's literally just like the most childish thing you can do. Not on both sides, because like obviously the writers have points, but like also there's a little bit of a childish element. Like, I'm not gonna work anymore.
I'm just not going to do it then.
Yeah, which is like, again,
every day of my life. I don't want to do it, so I'm not
yeah,
going to.
exactly. But it's also like gotten to the point where that's the only measure they can take, and then the big wigs up top, executive producers, like, well, we don't need you anymore, and then no one wins.
They do.
No one wins, and they're eventually gonna get their products. They're gonna get the work. They're gonna get their demands. Everything's gonna work out, but they just want to like see who's gonna break first, which is dumb, because then we lose as the consumer, as the audience.
That's true.
So dumb.
Point though.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, my bum of the day, the Dave writers. It's phenomenal writing. What do you got, JJ?
My bum of the day is along the same lines as yours.
Ooh.
So my mom has been telling me for probably the last year and a half, like, you need to watch Bridgerton. You need to watch Bridgerton, whatever. And I was like, no, not my kind of show. I was just being stubborn about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started watching it, and I'm loving it. And you know who like produced all of that?
No.
Shonda Rhimes, who did like Grey's Anatomy, all of that stuff. So
I didn't know that.
Shonda Rhimes is killing it.
Shout out Shonda. Is she still on Grey's Anatomy?
Shonda was never on it. That's
well, like, is she still working with Shonda, like with Grey's Anatomy?
Her name, Shonda Rhimes.
It sounds right. I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah, it is.
Is she still working with Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah,
because they're still making seasons, which is absurd.
Yeah, they should stop.
Yeah,
they should stop. And I'm a big Grey's Anatomy fan.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's gone at this point. Is Meredith gone?
Yeah.
McDreamy's been dead for a while.
Been gone.
Oh, what about short lady who was really mean at first?
Oh no, she's still there.
Oh, what's her name?
Miranda Bailey.
Yep.
And Richard Weber, who was like the original chief. They're
He's
like
still there.
Two original cast members that are still.
I thought he was like dying, like season like 4.
He's died like 5 times.
Okay, yeah. I mean, this show's ridiculous. But yeah, shout out. There's apparently a new show related, like in the Bridgerton universe.
Yeah.
Did you watch the other one first?
No, you're not supposed to.
Okay.
Because it follows like the backstory of one of the specific characters in Bridgerton.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'll watch it.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's get into Bama Rush talk, because I have a lot to say, even though I've talked about this quite a bit already. I put out a little recap, which wasn't really a recap. It was just like my 5 best moments. It is one of the most absurd things I've ever seen put out. It has no direction whatsoever.
That's exactly what I've seen.
It didn't know what it wanted to be. And then it advertised it as like this is going to end Greek life forever.
Yeah.
And then it just became about the director. And
the
like
girl that has alopecia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, again, so backstory for anyone who hasn't watched it. Basically, they were setting up this documentary because like 2 years ago, Alabama Rush Talk was like going viral on TikTok because all these people were going. Sororities in the South are crazy, which everyone across the world would agree with that. They're crazy. But it was going viral on TikTok because everyone was like, this is what I'm wearing day 1 of Rush. Shirt by whatever. I don't know, whatever. But it was going crazy. And then they decided to like expose the I don't know, the dark side of sorority life. And
Yeah.
they advertised it like this was going to bring down the entire
It was
system,
gonna end Greek life,
which
is what
it's
it was
absurd.
basically
And
like,
then,
what they were claiming.
yeah. And then it comes out and it does nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just very memeable at this point. There's some hilarious moments. If you watch it as a comedy, it's one of the funniest things put out this year. Because there's so many quotes that are so just like dumb. And then there's the overall direction of it. So the director, long story short, the director becomes like the main character because she basically relates the Rush life to her having alopecia and like how she didn't fit in because when it makes no sense. Again, I can't even explain it. Huh?
Because she had alopecia?
Yeah, I don't know. So she somehow becomes like a main part of it, and then she gets mad because people are like targeting her and know what she looks like because she's directing this documentary, even though she's part of the documentary. And it's all convoluted.
So
And
that
I
was
think,
what you wanted.
yeah. So my overall point basically is that I think it's just now the adults and the parents that are making this terrible system just keep working because you have this director who is still butthurt over something. And then you have all these rush counselors. This is the part I really want to talk about. The rush counselors. There's 2 or 3 of them in this documentary where their whole job is to sit there and coach these high school girls and tell
What?
them how to rush step by step.
Like,
When
in
you
high school?
well, like as they're because they rush going into their fall semester.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like while they're like summer coming out of high school, they're telling them, okay, so when you walk in the room, you want to sit down like this. Don't bring up this, 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 and this. Say this.
What, the 5
You don't.
Ps?
They had the. Is that a real thing? Oh, geez. How did you know about
Booze,
that?
boys, Buddha,
Biden, politics,
Biden, bills.
and money. Yeah. Wait, is that a real thing?
Mhm.
What? It's not like a joke.
No. You're
How
actually
did you
not
hear
allowed to
about
talk
it?
about from rushing.
They just told you that?
Yeah, like when
Who's that? Wait, yeah. Who told you that?
So there are seniors in sororities that like are in charge of a group of, say, like 25 of us that go through these houses together. And we don't know what houses they're in. They're like anonymous,
Yeah.
whatever. And we meet up a couple of times like throughout the entire process, and before you rush, we have a meeting about what to wear, like all that kind of stuff, and they go over the 5 Bs, and they say that you should not bring up any of those 5 categories while you are being rushed.
Like,
And then on the other end of it, like when you're rushing, they say the same thing. Don't bring up the 5 Bs. And if somebody does bring up one of the 5 Bs, it's considered like a red flag. Like, oh, they want to talk about if we drink. They're in it for the wrong reason.
Well, what if a girl comes in day 1 of rush, be like, yeah, like I'm super broke, I can barely afford this process, and like she brings it up. That's a B. Bills, money. Kick her out.
I think it's not.
Kick her out the door. Give her a boot.
At least not at like at Purdue. It wasn't like that. It was to an extent. Like if somebody's bragging about how wealthy they are and how much money they have, like that's probably not somebody that you want, you know? Or if they're like, are there a ton of cute boys? Like if they're obsessing over like fraternity boys, then like they're probably in it for the wrong reasons.
Okay, but a few questions there. Then why would you want the like we had like they were called rogue gammas for us, the ones who like walked there. Is that the same? So why
I don't remember what it's called.
Whatever. But why would those people like tell the incoming freshmen like, hey, don't talk about this? Because then they should just like weed themselves out. Like if a girl shows up, they didn't know anything, just starts talking about what kind of boys you have over, what fraternity, like all that stuff, you probably wouldn't like want her in the house anyways.
Well, so
right?
I don't think they necessarily like. I don't think every single one of them tells their group not to say those 5 Bs. I remember in my meeting, somebody had heard about it and asked, like, what are the 5 Bs? Aren't there certain things we're not supposed to talk about? And then they went through it.
Okay.
So I don't think it's like something they have to tell you.
Okay. kind of big picture question. Wouldn't you want, like, I don't know how the best way to ask this, but I would rather, if I'm trying to find this group of girls or guys fraternity that are like the most like me, like-minded, so we can have a house that's like kind of similar. We get along because you're hanging out with these people for the next 3 years, or if you're whatever, if you're new to the
Yeah.
house. Why would you want to just meet the most like prim, proper, polished,
No.
top-notch version of them? Like that does nobody any good. Anyone can come across a certain way if they're taught to come across a certain
Yeah.
way. That's the whole part of the system makes no sense to me. I'm like, I feel like you should just like it should just be like,
Put it
hey,
all out there.
hey, come over, let's hang out for a little bit, and just have all
Oh,
the girls over, like, let's just chill,
absolutely. That
let's
would be
just
a
vibe,
way more organic process of actually doing it. That's
and
why
it would
people
be
end
so
up in
much better.
houses that they don't fit in.
Exactly. That I don't understand
The
that system.
system's so old, and the people in charge are so old and so unwilling to change that it won't.
But like, who are
Like,
the
the way the guys do it, the fraternities do it, makes so much more sense.
and
Like, "Hey, come over to
even
the
there,
house
yeah,
and throw the football with me."
yeah, and I agree that there's some positive parts where like the sorority is just overkill with
Yeah,
like the system and follow these rules, and it's crazy.
yeah.
But like,
Sororities are held to a much different standard than the fraternities are.
by who though? Like, who's holding you to this standard?
So it's like the national headquarters. So,
What
like,
are they
each
gonna
school
do?
has, like, an what is it, FSCL or something, like Panhellenic, who's in charge of all of
Yeah.
it. So I think it starts there, obviously.
Well, like, it's not like these older people are coming in like, hey, if this girl brings up boys, gotta give her the
No,
boot.
not that. I think it's more like once you're in the house. Like,
Yeah.
sororities aren't allowed to have, like, boys in the house. We could only have them for, like, 2 hours a night and not on the weekends and things
Oh
like
yeah. Did you have so there's these weird rules that they brought up. Two of them I remember. One, there was no wet hair on the first floor. They weren't allowed to have wet hair on the first floor.
It's probably because that's where guests are allowed.
I mean, but it's still absurd. Like, you live
Oh,
there. That's
yeah.
your house.
That's
Okay.
not yeah, we
All
didn't
right.
do that.
Cool. And then the second one was when you leave the house, you have to have two. I'm trying to remember the rule. Wait, let me see if I can pull it up. Um, Two out of the three done. It was either like hair, makeup, or dress. Like just dress nice. You had to have two of the three done. Two. They all had like the 2/3 rule. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it was a 2/3 rule. You had to have two of the three done. Like, what are we doing?
yeah, that's crazy.
Like,
It's all
they're
about your
paying to
image.
do that. They're
It's
paying to do that.
a
What's the
shit ton of
benefit?
money too.
What is the benefit of that? I
Crazy
will
money.
never understand that.
All about your reputation on campus.
It's so absurd. Another big thing I never haven't really touched on. This is more specifically in the South and like specifically Alabama.
Yeah.
They have what's called the machine, which is basically like this underground society that runs all of Greek life and controls the entire campus, and all the elections are rigged by the machine.
Who does that include though?
It's
Like,
like one member from each like fraternity and sorority, and they meet like once a month. And
Oh.
they made it seem like it was this huge like secret society. And my whole point was, yeah, if like it'd be so easy to manipulate like a college election. So,
Yeah.
but you're also like they're acting like this machine is some scary like Voldemort type big bad evil thing. Like, it's a
just
bunch of
sounds
college
like
kids.
yeah.
It's a bunch
Well
of college kids. Like, give them beer and they will vote for whoever you want to.
yeah.
It's that simple.
Well, it just sounds like Panhellenic, like the members of
Yeah.
the panel, or
Yeah.
like the presidents of the houses that meet. Like,
It's so crazy to me. And then when the leaks came out about this documentary, so that was the big thing. The end of the documentary was basically talking about how it came out that there was about to be a documentary, and then
mhm.
everyone freaked out. And there were a few TikTok comments like, the machine's not gonna like this, and they put like dramatic music over it. I'm like, guys, it's a bunch of college kids. Like, these are children you're talking about. Like, they are dumb.
Their
We
brains aren't even
we
fully.
were just them. Dumb. They are dumb individuals, like easily manipulated. If an adult wanted to step in and change something, they probably could very easily. But these adults just feed into it. It's so crazy to me.
Yeah. No,
Like,
they do, because it's these like college obsessed women and men who are like stuck there and are convinced that this needs to continue, and they drive the entire thing.
Every single Rush counselor they talked about had a story about how they didn't get into the house they wanted to. So now it's so obvious what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, really, they have not closed that yearbook. They're still
Right.
mad about it. And then, but their stories are all the same. They're like, I remember that day, bid day, and all the girls screaming so happy. And I sat and I cried myself to sleep in the library. But then the next time I finally found a group of girls that would accept me for who I am.
And
I
I
was
found
like,
a house that I actually fit in.
yeah.
Like,
And then I was like,
right.
but even if that's true, I'm like, that's the goal. You ended up in a place that's good for you. Why would you want to be in a place that's not? Why are you still trying to force these girls to pretend to be something they're not? Because one of these girls, I wish I remember their names. I'm also, so fun fact, I am interviewing one of them tomorrow from the documentary. It's going to be really funny. And I'm so shocked that she agreed to do this because I messaged her, and this was so one of my favorite clips from the entire documentary was this girl who she's describing how she feels on bid day. And she said she's standing in front of the mirror, and I wish I had the clip to pull up. She goes, "I'm nervited." And she's like, it means nervous and excited. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I like kind of clipped that and memed it a little bit and posted out everywhere. And then I DM'd her. And I was like, hey, you want to come on the podcast?
You should have her do it.
I'm
You
gonna
should just say it a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna open up the interview. I'm like, I'm kind of nervited over here. No, and I give her credit because I put out the video, a full recap and everything. And that's when she answered. She DM'd me back. She's like, hey, like I just saw the video. That was hilarious. Yeah, I'll do the interview. So I was like, okay, she can roll with the punches. She understands it's funny. That's all I need. As long as you open those doors, that like,
just can't
yes.
take it too far.
I won't. No, it'll be fun. I'm just interested to see like behind the scenes what they knew about. Like,
I wonder how many questions like think she can actually answer all your questions.
Well, yeah, because she was in the documentary, so I was wondering like how people like reached out to her and how
legally.
I doubt she signed like any type of NDA, or else you would have gotten better information. That's the thing. I don't think they got any information for the documentary because legally, like they couldn't really do anything. Their hands were tied, like, and so no one really said anything crazy. Which I don't know how much crazy stuff there really is to say. I think we all know how messed up it is. Like everyone, like what could come out that would surprise you?
We also like we're in it. So although we're not like in the South, I feel like you get a hint of it where people who say don't go to college or don't have colleges that have Greek life or things like that, like they would probably be shocked by a lot of it.
Yes. Agreed. I think in certain contexts, you could frame every single part of a fraternity and sorority and make it sound like some crazy cult, which it is.
Yeah,
it is. And I've been pretty open about like it's kind of 99% of the entire Greek system is bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Is maybe even more than that, but it's rooted in a good idea and just executed so poorly.
Agreed.
That's how I would describe it.
It hasn't changed with the times at all.
Yes. Yeah.
Or it's like, I don't know, like my mom, when she was in one at Purdue, she talked about like all the things they used to do and all this stuff. And I was like, it's just not like that anymore. Like we don't have parties with the fraternities in the alley. Like, you know, like we can't do that. I just think universities have gotten so much stricter and the fun parts of actually being in it are gone. And now it's just more of like the stupid parts. I don't know.
Yeah. You're right. It hasn't changed at all, which is because like every thing that lasts this long should change. Like there are if you're not critiquing something in a certain way, it's probably not a good thing. So I
Yeah.
feel like these should just like maybe I don't know. At this point it's probably long gone.
Boot it.
Honestly, I don't think we're that far away
I
from
don't think
it.
so either, but also I feel like they've been saying that for a long time. Like I feel
Well,
like
yeah,
people always said that.
the
Not
machine.
going.
They're all scared of the machine. They don't want the machine to come after them.
I just
Which
think it's
is
interesting because this documentary really could have exposed a lot
it just didn't.
and probably could have like really ended Greek life, but I just think they failed.
Yeah, and
Like they just missed the mark.
the way to do a documentary like this is follow one person.
Mic someone
Don't
up.
Yeah, one person. It doesn't don't follow a group of girls with different back. Just follow one person and just show her point of view going through this process.
Yeah.
Then they tried to like cover everything and
Yeah.
they really told nothing. Like
Yeah.
half the girls they had involved dropped out and like never even rushed. That's the thing. Like they made it seem like they're going to show like the rush process. They showed leading into it, like they had to rush counseling and the director has alopecia. Fun fact. And then that was it. That was the first hour. It was literally the first hour. And then another crazy thing about the documentary is I can't tell. I don't think I could ever make like a documentary like this, especially with like kids, because the kids were very open with like stuff they were struggling with, anxiety, like mental health, eating disorders. And then a few of them, they all said along the same lines. They were like, yeah, I'm really struggling with this right now. But once I go through the rush process in sorority, it should get better. And I'm thinking as a director, as a cast and crew, you are trying to make a documentary about how bad and degrading this process is. You have this girl who's struggling with something, and then she's saying, I can't wait to go through this.
She thinks this is going to fix it.
Wouldn't you like warn her and be like, hey, maybe like treat this, get all that together, figures like work on yourself a little bit, and then maybe do that. Because like if you are describing this process as being so bad and ugly, and then you have these kids who are struggling with stuff.
In this vulnerable person.
Yeah, it felt so weird. Like I was like, this does not feel right. Like it just borderlined on like very comedic because it was just hilariously put together, but then also like just really sad because these girls are like pretty like broken in a sense. Like they were dealing with stuff. But they were like so optimistic about this process that I don't know. It felt wrong. Yeah, and it just it was very hard to watch. But like there were some parts that were straight out of a comedy movie.
Yeah, Isabel texted us about it last night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find it because it was
she sent me so many quotes and stuff from it.
Did she?
Yeah, because she knew I'd watched it because I'd post about it. Oh yeah, so the rush counselors, one other big part, they were like planning out small talk, and I was like, what do you said? Yeah, like that's a normal thing. You don't plan out small talk. That's small. That's not.
We had like talking points.
That's so like. Again, that's just so. It feels like
it's not normal small talk because you're put into this environment with this one person, and you're like sat in this room of 50 people, and you're like forced to share the best information about yourself within like 4 minutes.
But
like it's different. Like you have to have talking points so that conversation doesn't go dead, because if it does, well, you're screwed. You're going to get cut. You can't talk about these things. You can't talk about drank in high school. You can't talk about if you have a boyfriend, you know?
Reason with me then. Why would you want to even be in a place where like that's the expectation? It's like, don't be boring. 4 minutes, fill it up. Have these talking points.
It's not the expectation once you're in the house, though.
But it should like, it's so aggravating. It makes no sense on paper.
I know.
Oh man, I don't like if it's like I'm scouting a MLB team. I'm trying to put together the best MLB team.
Okay.
I'm not gonna, if I really want to know what this player's all about, I don't want to say, hey, we're putting together this game. We're all going to be there. All the scouts are going to be there. You're going to see this pitcher. They're going to throw this pitch, and it's going to land here. And this is what this is the entire setup. So you know exactly what's coming. Now go. And then he hits a home run, and we're like, wow, this dude's amazing. I want to see this guy playing pickup baseball with his buddies in the backyard, see the mechanics that way. He doesn't know I'm there. That's authentic, and that's like genuine example of like what this person's about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like that seems like I'm building a much better team that way.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the Greek system, period, right there.
Yeah.
It's all fake. Everyone's fake. All right, cool. Glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
What else do I want to say about the doc? Rush counselors talked about the nerviting. Her name's Isabel. Shout out Isabel. She'll be on the pod on Monday. So stay tuned for that, guys, because it's gonna be a fun one. I'm very excited for this one. If you have any, what kind of like, where should I go in, Jenna? What do you want to know about the Southern
I haven't
sororities?
seen it.
Okay, but what would you like to know, like outsiders, Southern sororities? What would you want to know from your perspective?
I don't really have any specific questions. I feel like it's not that different. It's just on like a much more intense scale.
Okay.
I feel like it's just a lot more cutthroat.
Fair. It is. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the South in general. They're just the crazy. Is that the trash truck in the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Nice. What else did I write down? I had a bunch of notes from this. Oh, get this. What year do you think the Alabama sororities ended segregation?
It's crazy. It's like 2013 or something.
2013. What? How is that even possible?
I know.
Look, how that blew me away. When I heard that, I was like, how is it like jail for everyone? There's also the best moment in the entire documentary is at the very end. They have one of the girls who she like went viral on TikTok during Alabama Rush. Her name's Shelby Rose, I think. She went crazy viral during the whole Alabama Rush thing, and she was part of the documentary. And she ended up pulling out of the documentary, like at the very end, and said like, "Hey, I don't use anything past this." But the way they edited it, they literally were like, they had a long shot of the director laying in her bed, like almost tears in her eyes, looking at her phone, and she looks up and she goes, with dramatic music in the background, she's like, "We lost Shelby." And then it cuts to like a montage of this girl, like it's an homage, like as if she died. So I'm laughing for an hour and 15 minutes.
She was dead.
I thought she died. I thought she died. And it was an hour and a half documentary. For the first hour and 10, 15 minutes, I'm cracking up. And then all of a sudden they're like, "We lost Shelby." And I was like, she's dead. And I felt so bad for about 2 seconds. And then it cuts to a black screen and it says, "Shelby decided to leave the documentary." I was like, you cannot do that. Like, it is the most absurd editing I've ever seen in my life. It was so dramatic.
They had to have known what they were doing.
That's what I really want to interview like the director. I'm like,
okay, wait.
Was this a joke?
Well, the director, the girl with alopecia.
Yes.
How old is she?
40s.
Oh.
I would guess. And
guess she rushed at Alabama?
She went to Albany. No. Ithaca College. I did research here. She went to Ithaca. What?
That's in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing? You're not involved in this at all. This ain't about you. So crazy.
That's not like a good perspective to start from in the first place.
Exactly. Like, and then why are you forcing yourself into this?
Forcing themselves into it.
Adults, man.
Just needs to be involved somehow.
I really hope, I guess not hope, but like that she was assigned this and this wasn't like a passion project.
It's on HBO Max, isn't it?
Yeah, it launched.
Usually,
Not a whoa. You can't say the H word now. It's just Max.
huh?
They changed to just Max. It's Max. And
Why?
you have to get a new exactly. You have to get a
Really?
new
Is that
app.
why it's not?
That's why it's not working.
I went to watch it last night. This was
Mm-hmm.
before Isabel was texting about it and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, screw it. But I went to watch it last night, and I clicked on HBO Max, and it was like, download the new whatever, and I was like, what?
Yeah, you
Was
have to
it
get
not
Max.
affiliated with HBO anymore?
No, it is, and it makes no sense why they're dropping it. Like they just all they did was acquire Discovery, I think. So they added Discovery,
So can it
but
not be considered specifically HBO
I
anymore?
think it still can be.
Oh,
And I don't understand why you would drop it when like HBO is like the name has it guarantees a certain level of quality. Like HBO is
that's what I was just gonna say. Is like, I'm
not
shocked that it's
prestigious, but
on
yeah.
HBO Max because usually the stuff that they put out is like very well done.
Yeah. So that's the thing is
All shows are so good.
this launched their Max, their new streaming service. It was
Well,
this.
mistake on their part.
Oh my gosh, across the board, HBO Max fumbled the bag on this one. But yeah, I hope she was just assigned this, and then she found out like we have no story here whatsoever, and then she
Just
just
like, you know what? Let's just make it about my alopecia.
yeah. Which if that's the case, I don't have a problem with it. Like she was like, we have no story whatsoever. How can we add a
I'm
storyline
just
that?
gonna talk about myself.
Yeah, it's yeah. I kind of want to give her. I'm trying my best to give her the benefit of the doubt because it did just come across as this weird passion project revenge plot documentary that didn't do anything. And then if that's the case, I'm like, just don't.
Give it
You
up.
don't have to do this, and or just don't promote it as like we're bringing down the Greek system. This made me want to rush.
The entire country.
This made me want to rush an Alabama sorority. I was like, honestly, it kind of looks like fun. It looks kind of sick. Like it had the opposite effect.
Yeah.
If I could go back in college, I'd go to Alabama. I would try to rush a sorority. I'd be like, hey, you gotta let me in now. I know all the tricks and the trades now. I know all the small talk tips. I know the B's.
You know the
Don't
5 B's?
I know the B's. Boys, booze, Biden, Bills, and boys, booze, Biden's. Well, Meeks thinks. It was terrible. Boys, Bills, Biden, booze, and oh, I know it. So it's like money, alcohol, boys, politics. Oh, religion, Buddha.
Yeah.
I should rush. Bible. Meek says Bible. I think that's the one they used. Yeah.
They do different ones. Yeah, it depends.
I think yeah. So again, shout out me. I could rush a sorority. Good. Easy. Like that's the thing. It shouldn't be like a game plan. The fact that I could take notes and like if I dress up as a girl,
literally
I could
just an interview.
Yeah. It's absurd. It's absurd. It's you're interviewing friends.
Yeah.
I don't like if I meet a new group of people, I'm not like at the end of the day like writing pros, cons. It's just like a natural like human thing.
Yeah, but yeah.
So messed up. I mean, we can only say so much about how just messed up everything is. But the documentary, I keep contradicting myself because I tell people not to watch it, and then I talk about it. I'm like, you have to see this part. So like, honestly, it really
don't watch it, but
like it's hilarious.
But I'm actually interviewing a girl from it, so you should watch it.
Yeah, you should totally watch it so you understand the references made in that interview. So maybe do go watch it, but just look at it from the perspective of a comedy. Don't expect to like be blown away. Like that's it. Just change. That's why people are so disappointed. Like people across the board are
also
hating
the trailer was deceiving then because the trailer makes it look pretty intense.
And they tried to make it intense, but it just isn't.
It failed.
It's so bad. Even the cover is like this girl that says like rush something and just screaming like blood like oh it's so funny to me how much they missed this. Yeah. I don't know. Anything else you want to know about the documentary? Are you gonna watch it at all?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
All right, you need to report back. I want to hear what you think, but I've basically summarized it all, so
Well, I've seen a lot of it on TikTok, I feel like.
it's everywhere. I try to get in early on that. I watched this weirdly early in the day. I was done with it. It's an hour and a half documentary. I was done with it before lunch. Like
Came out at like
maybe before,
midnight.
huh?
Came out at like midnight.
Yeah, it came out at midnight. I didn't know it was coming out, and then I saw something literally on my Twitter, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get in early on this. So I literally watched it from like 9 to 10:30 as I was like editing.
Wow.
And so probably the only one who watched it at that hour.
Probably.
I'm so glad people are validating my reactions to it, because it would have been so disheartening if I made this entire video just like shitting on it, and everyone's like, they were like, you don't understand the struggle, and I was like, oh shit, that was my nightmare.
You don't even know what it's like.
Yeah, like you don't know what it's like. But even all like the people, I had a few comments. They're like, yeah, I'm a Alabama sorority like member, and I was like, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, this is just a joke. Like, that's why I'm interested to interview this girl, because I just want to like see what that process was like.
She in a house?
Yeah. She's like one of the only girls in the documentary who ends up just like getting her top house.
You what houses they get in?
Yeah.
Yeah. What house is she in?
So here's another thing. I'm gonna have to rewatch it tonight for prep. Wait. How about this, Jenna? I'm just gonna have you rewatch it, and with like keep your eyes on this girl and give me stuff to talk about, so I don't have to watch it twice. Could you do that for me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was literally thinking about that before I hopped on here. I was like, I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I don't remember exactly like her role throughout. I just remember Nervited.
I'll ask some questions. I'll write some questions.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had to go like this, but I'll do it.
That's how you learn to type in grade school. Just like your keyboard is 50 feet long. So yeah, I'm gonna write some questions.
It's embarrassing.
Unreal. But yeah, I guess go watch it, everyone, please, and then Jenna report back. All right, Jenna, summer plans. What are you looking forward to now? You're done with school. You don't have to deal with kids. What's gonna be the biggest life change? Is it sleep? Is it like eating schedule? Just overall positivity?
One huge thing is like being able to go to the bathroom whenever I want.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
That's really exciting.
Do you have to like plan out?
Not hearing my name, my last name specifically, 400 times a day. Not even being public. That's gonna be nice. We were talking about how we're excited to like go by our first names again.
That's a good point. Are you do you think like your social battery is gonna like adjust? Because I feel like it's super draining to be around those kids all day. So I feel like you might for like a week or two just like have all this, like you're so accustomed to just like being on for entertaining for 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like I feel like your body's not going to know what to do between the hours of like 8 and 3. I actually
saw a study that said that a lot of teachers get sick.
Oh, I can see
for
that.
About a week after like the last week of school, because your adrenaline's like on such high alert the entire school year, because you're constantly making decisions, being asked questions, like doing all this stuff. And then the second your body like crashes and realizes it's not doing that anymore, you actually get sick.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like ready for battle the whole time, and then as soon as like you're on rest, everything just relaxes. Like even your immune system's like, all right, we can take a break now.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the sicknesses being around that many kids all day, every day. Your immune system's at top notch, just like firing on all cylinders.
A lot of first year teachers get like very really sick a couple of times a year from it. Like I luckily didn't, but yeah.
What are you like evaluating your like teaching performance? Are you like, oh, I'm good? Are you like year 2, I want to do this better, I want to change this?
There's so many things I'm gonna do different.
Any like big things like I really need to set the tone and like do this?
Have rules. Yeah,
it's a good start. Maybe
like not let the kids get in my desk drawers whenever they want.
Yeah. It's so weird. I don't know why I never thought about this. Cause like when we went through school, each year we're like evolving. You know what I mean? Like we're going up, we're like, learning new stuff. You're like resetting and you're getting a new group that's at the same level.
Doing
That's weird.
the same thing.
The same thing. I never thought of it because in my brain, that's all I've ever known is like the next year, like evolving,
Mhm,
move up, move up. You're just like getting a new crop of recycling material
mhm.
and just with a new group. That's got to
Yeah.
be weird.
I think it's really interesting, especially as a first year teacher, because kids are so kids do so much better on like a very set schedule, like
Hmm.
very defined rules and
So
things like
it's
that.
same. It's
I mean, yeah,
relatable.
people in general, I guess. And as a first year teacher, you don't really know like what your
Hmm.
schedule is, what your rules are going to be, you know? So you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants the entire year. And the kids, you know, are probably less behaved than they'd normally be because of
Yeah.
that. So hopefully it'll be nice to know going into it, like how to set the tone of the entire year next year.
Hmm.
And hopefully they'll be a little better.
I feel like there's a lot less stress too. Like you're just more comfortable in that environment. Like
Mhm.
that's how I'm feeling. Like I'm going to year 2 of coaching and like just behind the scenes stuff. I'm just way more like, oh, I've done this before. I know what to do.
Yeah.
When you first start, you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but this is what I'm doing. Just like figure out as you go.
Mhm.
Now, like I feel like I have more time to actually focus on like what actually matters besides like worrying about
Exactly.
am I sending this email right? Did I
Yeah.
communicate this correctly? Like it's so much less stress so you can actually do your job better.
Yeah. Like last summer, I mean, I got the job 2 weeks before school started. So it was just like
That's
stress.
crazy.
But I was so worried about like decorating my classroom and doing all those sorts of things that I don't have to worry about that this year. You know,
Yeah.
like that's done. That's out of the way. Now I can actually this summer like focus on actually making the educational part of it better, which wasn't as important necessarily as just like getting through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just survive. You're in just survival mode year 1.
Yeah.
You picking up any hobbies this summer? I need a hobby. That's why I'm asking. I don't have any
Um,
hobbies.
I'm really excited to be able to like watch shows again. Like
Okay, that doesn't really
I've got
help
like a
my
watch list. I've got a book list. I'm really excited for that. I'm
neither of
gonna
those
try
help
to
me.
read 20 books this summer.
20 books in 2 months.
Okay, let's do 15.
I wasn't questioning if you could do it. I was just
I
trying
know,
to
but
do the
I was
math.
thinking it through because I was like 60 days. I mean, that would be a lot, but
It's a
I'm
lot.
gonna go with 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a book list going too. I'm excited to
All
have
right.
some
I'm
time.
gonna I'm gonna set my own goal. I'm gonna try to read 1 book this summer.
Okay, you've been
Start
saying
to
that
finish.
for a while.
Okay, but challenge me. I'm gonna finish 1 book before you finish 10. That seems fair. I'm
Okay,
trying to finish 1 book before you finish 10.
deal.
Deal.
Text you
I
every
did.
time I
All
finish
right,
it.
and I'm going
Yep.
to
I'm not doing that again on the
do it
screen.
again. Do it again. That's how fucked up my brain is. Like I didn't even process that that's a weird thing to do. That we just shook over
No,
Zoom.
it was just that. Never mind.
Fair enough. Now I'm gonna spend. How about this? Challenge doesn't start till Monday. You're not allowed to read this
Okay,
weekend.
I'm
Okay,
not going
because
to.
I need 4 days to figure out what book I'm gonna read.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a lot of research. I'm gonna find the perfect book for me that I'm gonna be invested in, and I'm actually gonna want to read.
Okay.
It's still gonna be a challenge. Again, I haven't read a book cover to cover 7th, and then there were none 7th grade. Agatha Christie, great book,
7th
great book.
grade.
I don't think I finished a book like definitely not for school.
High
Maybe
school, we read books.
I didn't read those. I
Yeah,
would schmoop
fair.
those for days.
Yeah, me
I would
neither.
I would if I would schmoop it and then I would skim
Spark
through
note?
the no, I never did because that's a little trick for all the high schoolers listening.
Too late now.
Yeah, if you're one of my students, don't listen to this. But all the teachers they know about Spark Notes.
Well,
That
yeah.
yeah. So what they do for their little quizzes, they go on Spark Notes and make sure their answers aren't on there. What they don't do, they don't go on Schmoop. Schmoop is the same thing as SparkNotes, gives a little more detail, and it's based around like what literature teachers would ask, like these type of literary elements, all this stuff. So I would read Schmoop, and then I would skim through right before class, like the 5-minute passing period. I would skim through the chapter and look for literally just look for proper nouns, so I could like point those out. Like I would look for capital letters, like name. Who is that? Okay, that's the name of a city. I know that. And I would just look for proper nouns. If you know all the proper nouns in a chapter, you understand it.
You're a much better student than I was.
See, like that's not it, but some people would say like it's a bad student.
That's smart.
Yeah, like I was a firm believer in work smarter, not harder.
SparkNotes and yeah.
Like I killed it in English classes. Killed it. Hundreds across the board. Because I was really good at knowing what the teacher wanted. I wasn't good at.
Is that a blanket?
Yeah. You have a problem with? A little bit.
No.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'll keep it under the table. Yeah, I was really good at knowing what the teacher wanted. I wasn't necessarily good at knowing the information. So I could just go. I'd go in. Yeah, I'd go in, take the test. As soon as I'm out of there, that's gone. Never remember that one again. And I was like, oh, and I was really good at noticing when a teacher like emphasized something, because they were like, this is going to be on the test, but they wouldn't even say that before they wouldn't even say it's going to be on the test, but you could tell it was about to be on the test. Like I could just,
full of it.
Huh?
I think you're full of it.
Check the grades. I didn't read a single book. What? I had hundreds in all my English classes. Didn't read a single book. Not a one book. Hundreds across the board.
Trophy or a small parade?
You're just saying I'm full of it. I did it. It worked. I already got a trophy here. Shout out Chris Castellani, Battleflix MVP. It's actually Brian's. He just lives in Chicago now. He literally won Battleflix, then moved to Chicago within 24 hours. So we just never had the chance to give him his trophy. And I'm not paying to ship this up to Chicago. So Brian, it's been sitting on my desk for a month. Congratulations. Chris Castellani now is the namesake of the trophy, but it still belongs to you, Brian, which season 2 will be coming most likely in the fall. We're still working out the kinks of that one. All right.
What are you doing for race weekend? It's Indiana race weekend.
It's a great question. That's a very good point.
Like all that Indiana is.
I don't know if this will shock you. I've never been to the race.
Me either.
Look at us. Great Hoosiers. There was a stat that said like 1 in every 1,000 people in America will be at the race. And I was like, there's no way that's true. Like, that's an insane number. And I didn't verify it at all. So I don't know if it's true or not. But it was like 1 in every 1,000 or maybe 10,000. But I think it was 1,000. Because that 10,000 wouldn't like necessarily shock me.
Oh.
Did you find it?
300,000 people go to the race?
Yeah. So
how many people are in the
I'm just gonna Google
US population? Oh, 331.9 million.
Wait. I think that math adds up.
The math is mathing.
1 in every 1,000 people?
That is 1,000?
I think so. I'm trying to figure out.
I think it's 10. Do 300,000 times 10.
Times 10? That's just 3 million. It's 3 million. Right? Yeah, it's 3 million.
But the US population is 300 million.
Okay, maybe they were wrong. I just saw it on Twitter. I was like, there's no chance in hell.
Why would we multiply it by 10? That would be
I don't know. I was just doing what you said.
So you're right. It's 1 in every 1,000.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
1 every 1,000 is going to be at the race in our backyard, and we've never been. And I have no desire to go, so I don't feel like I'm missing out. But that's still.
I kind of wanted to go this year just for the experience of it, but I'm not.
I actually
then
last
it came
night
down to the actual logistics.
And
I was like, you know what? I'll just go watch it somewhere.
Yeah, last night I think it's gonna be blacked out. If it doesn't sell out, they black it out, which is so weird. I added it to my bucket list last night. So I have to go at some point.
That is a hilarious bucket list item just based on the fact that we live in central Indiana.
Yeah. To force myself to go to the Indy
It would actually be super easy.
So simple. I still could. I very easily still could. I could wake up
right now.
I could wake up Sunday morning and be like, you know what? I'm going to go. Like, that's crazy. Like, that should not be a bucket list item that I can just I can just do.
That is a terrible bucket list item.
But I only reason I put it there is to force myself to go, because I would not go for any other reason. Because I just have no desire to do it. And everyone always oh, but it's like the experience, you're missing out. And I was like, I'm not missing out if I haven't even got a taste of it. Like, no one has explained.
I don't know what I'm missing out on.
Exactly.
See, but I feel like there's few and far between. It's like you're a race fanatic and you go every year, or it's like a tradition, or you go once and you're like, I did it once, I don't really need to go again.
Yeah, that'll definitely be me when I end up going.
Why even go?
It would be really funny if I go one time, that was the greatest thing ever, and I just go every year for the rest of bring my family there for the rest of my life.
Yeah, then we can bring back this clip.
I'll just clip this. Just what a loser. No, but to answer your question, nothing. Working. Long weekend. Good week for work. How about you? Fun plans?
My family goes to the parade on Saturday, the 500 parade.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Is it I'm assuming it's at the Speedway?
No.
It's not?
Just in Town, Indy.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, my dad's company does a big cookout and food trucks and stuff like that before, and then we all go.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow, look at that.
I enjoy it.
Sweet. All right, well, let's wrap up there. Let's do some bright sides, and then we'll get out of here. My bright side is what do we got going on this week? Weather's been nice, but I don't want to do a weather-related bright side.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Feels like a cop-out.
Yeah, it's too easy.
It's nice outside.
Yeah, look at the sun.
I do that every time, though.
Yeah, you do. So I don't want to be like you. I'm gonna say I went 3 days. We were out of coffee in this house, and I survived. So that's a bright side. I survived 3 days without coffee, and now I'm kind of doubling up because I had a little afternoon coffee, but I survived a couple days. So it's nice to know I can. You know what I mean? It's all I'm not a caffeine addict.
Fiend, yeah.
It's nice to know I can survive without it. So that was good. That's my bright side. What you got?
My bright side is summer.
Woo woo. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in. Happy Thursday. Happy pre-Friday. Jenna, thanks for being here. We'll see you guys on Monday. Also, Jenna has her special show tomorrow, solo show that she's gonna be hosting now every Friday. It's gonna be great, right? You want to tease it? Tell the people know what they're gonna see tomorrow.
Wait, what was the name gonna be?
Genocide. Still a podcast that needs to happen. Genocide.
Also, I have another one. I can't remember if this is one I came up with last time or not. Genitalia, but genitalia. I'm gonna tell ya.
I think you did say that one last time, maybe.
Damn it.
And it probably got the same reaction out of me. Genocide is so much better.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's an incredible one, and it needs to happen. And the people want it. That's all I'm going to say. The people want a genocide podcast.
I'm not so sure about that.
And now you have so much time on your hands, so we can make it happen.
50,000 retweets.
50,000 retweets on Twitter.
Or I won't do it.
Why are we helping into Twitter as we're on a YouTube show and our main platform?
200 TikTok likes.
200? Okay. Wait. Actually,
that was a joke. Now 2,000.
2,000 TikTok likes, and we'll hear a genocide podcast.
I'm not doing that on camera again.
You have to. I will off screen. Handshake. All right. Thanks for coming on, Jenna. Have a good weekend, everyone. Enjoy the race if you're from Indy. And if not, move to Indy, I guess. See you guys. Enjoy the weekend.